I don't think Bob Dylan changed. He went from these, which were labeled anti-protest songs. I don't think he changed into this other Bob Dylan, which um, just kind of created lyrics that did not really make much sense and used electric guitar and all of that stuff. Um, I think he changed because he felt that in a way it was suffocating to stay the same. And in a way, when people just add some sort of meaning to your work, or they tell you you're a certain thing, or they put you in some label, even if you fit the label, you feel very misperceived because it's such a simplification of a person. Um, and I think that Dylan is very aware that he has crafted even the first persona. And I'm reading his chronicles right now. I don't know where the book is, but what's really what bugs me about him is that he jumps so much back and forth between everything he's saying. He changes his mind within pages, and it's really hard to read. And I don't know who he is. I have no idea who he is, even though I'm reading about his supposed life story. Um, and it's so hard because he creates this complete disconnect. And I think he's just playing with everyone. I don't know if this is even telling the truth. I don't believe him most of the time, anything he says. Even when he's being raw, like I'd feel like this, if this was someone else, they would be being really real and this is such a beautiful writing. But it's all an illusion, and then he skips to something else and he reminds me. And it's interesting reading that. It's a bit of a roller coaster. Um, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about this. I hope some people are interested because I think this is a very big shift in the way I think about any sort of thing that's created. It's also kind of sad. It it takes away the magic in a way, but it was never really a real magic to begin with. Maybe the experience that I felt or being touched by something, I mean that's still possible. I'm still touched by things. Um, but in a way everything just seems so crafted and fake now. Um, I don't really know how I feel about that. It's difficult. I alternate between it's very fascinating to me to think of myself and other people like that as just, not really have real autonomy, but am transformed by my experience or what I read or anything, and just the things I produce aren't really a reflection of myself because that person does not really exist. And this is so terrifying. um, but I like to play with it. I don't know, I think that myself, my personal self, is really shapeable. And I find myself criticizing most of my beliefs and trying to um, not even develop them, make them better, but trying to refute them completely. And it's hard, it's almost like a schizophrenic sort of life to be like that, to be critical. And I don't really want to be swayed by my emotions so much. I'd rather be critical and try to distance myself from that. Because I think that's such a powerful moving force. It'd be interesting if you could control your emotions and manipulate people like that. I don't mean like I'm gonna turn to some sort of horrible advertiser or something, or pretend that I don't know. But to be able to create a work that even I don't really believe in, or, to make a poem about something and actually make someone have an intense emotional reaction to it without myself actually feeling involved, but being able to use words very effectively and to move people. I think that's a great accomplishment. I'd like to be able to do that um, without just being reactive, without just having the audience that would want, some politically reactive thing. Um, or maybe having an audience that is not really aware of what I'm doing, which I think is probably how it works for everyone. Audiences are usually young like that. They're teenagers. I don't mean for poetry, but musicians, they're all young. Um, unless, really, most of the older people listen to the stuff they listened to when they were younger. They don't really listen to the newer musicians. Um, it's very interesting. I hope people like my ramble. It didn't really go anywhere. What else do I want to say? Yeah, it's a very interesting course. Talked about Coleridge and Wordsworth and the lyrical ballads, which we read a lot of. I had to do a presentation on it. Um, just pointing out instances where they're actually really hypocritical of pretending that they're these romantic genius figures. Coleridge, not so much. I mostly did Wordsworth. Um, because Coleridge has barely any poems in there. So, and also Vonnegut. I read 2 of his books. It's interesting though. I like more sociology classes. And I'm talking too much about myself, but English major, psych minor, teaching profession. Okay. I think I'll make a bunch of videos for this channel. And Sophia will enjoy when she comes back. And hopefully we will have some followers. But I'd like to know what people think about this dilemma between real versus fake, whether we're all just these manufactured, things that have some sort of need to create, but what we create is not really that much tied to ourselves, but it should be something that is a struggle to achieve. I think this is more what I believe now. And it's a very big transformation, and it's hard to transform like that. But I've been convinced, so